Welcome to the Spirit School podcast. My name is Danielle Sarank, also known as the Squamish Medium. I created this space to inspire lightworkers to go from fear to clear and get connected to their sacred abilities and spiritual practices. I love supporting women through the creation of their heart-centered spiritual businesses in a way that lights them up and aligns them with their purpose. I am passionate to share all I know about the journey to becoming a professional psychic medium, mentor, and coach for the developing lightworker and spiritual entrepreneur. Through interviews, honest stories of my adventures, and lessons I learned, I hope to empower, inspire, and uplift you and get you excited about your life again. Welcome home. Hello everyone, welcome back to Spirit School. I am so excited to be bringing you the December 2020 Spirit Messages and Energy Forecast for the month of December. This is something I actually tried to record last week. I was trying to be very strategic in the sense where I'm like, Fridays are my recording days. But you know, some things just ended up happening. My son's daycare ended up closing, so I was at home with him all day. I did get some time alone to try to record it, but the energy just wasn't there. And that's what I love about the Spirit Messages and Energy Forecast. They can't be forced. Literally can't be forced. Tomorrow is the first of the month. Today is the full moon in Gemini. And when I was checking in with Spirit today, is it a good day to record this? What do we got going? I was definitely getting a heck yes. So I pulled out Yasmin Boland's Moonology deck for today's energy forecast. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to actually see the cards. If you're checking on the podcast, hello, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. And we'll just see what comes through. When I was checking in with Spirit about just like an overall arching theme for December, they did take me to self-care. And that is not where I instinctively wanted to go with December, to be honest with you. I wanted to go talk about rest. And I think that that will come up as well. But they were really taking me around the energy of self-care. Now, I don't know if that's a typical theme for December or not, because it feels to me like the way that we live typically in December, non-pandemic world, we are constantly going to parties, being external, putting ourselves out there, lots of mingling, lots of conversing with other people. So it was interesting to me that we kind of came into like the self-care and rest kind of energy, which is what Spirit's bringing to me. And when I was pondering it with Spirit, which is how a lot of these messages come through, is just a simple contemplation with the world of Spirit, which is how I live my life, just constantly in contemplation about spiritual things and spiritual philosophies and things that happen to me in my everyday life. I think my life is completely magical. They were making me feel that no, like, December is typically time of rest. If we look at like the shamanic way of living, it is definitely hibernation time in the northern hemisphere. Of course, down in the southern hemisphere, which I definitely have listeners down there, you guys are about to come into your summer solstice while we're going into our winter solstice. So this is a time of rest. And it's interesting this year, I feel that we're going to be more rested than normal because we obviously have a pandemic going on. We are being called to stay indoors. I know that there are definitely some states and provinces in North America that are in lockdown. And so there might not be an opportunity to travel this year. And so what Spirit has kind of brought to my attention around this is we actually may feel more rested at the end of this month than any other time in our lives, because we are not going to be able to go to all these parties. We are not going to be able to travel as much for the holidays. We're not going to be putting ourselves out there as much. Now, in the initiation circle, like my membership for intuitive and mediumship development, I am going to be focusing on a 30-day challenge in January called about mediumship and mindset, right? Mindset. And I know mindset has really come up a lot in these energy forecasts. If you follow the weekly ones on YouTube or the monthly ones through the podcast and YouTube, you know that this has come up a lot. And I feel very much that going into December, going into January, we're going to see how powerful our mindset is actually going to be, because we are not going to get to do the typical things that we get to do. And for some people who are very external and extroverted, that is going to be a little bit of a struggle. Now, I'm very introverted. I even get my groceries delivered to my house. Like, I don't go out very much at all. So these kind of like lockdown / restrictions, they don't affect me as much, being such an introverted person. But I do know for the extroverts out there, this could be a little bit of a tougher month. But what Spirit really wants to bring to my attention for you guys is the opportunity for rest and self-care. Okay. Now, self-care, of course, everyone has a very different lens on what self-care is to them. So I would invite you to even make a list for yourself on what self-care looks and feels like for you. For me, I do love getting facials. It's my favorite treatment to get. I suffer with a very painful rosacea on my skin, and you can't even see it anymore because I get facials every single month. And that has actually, counterintuitive, almost fully cleared up my rosacea breakouts. I still have it. I still get the environmental triggers of rain and cold and hot and sun, like everything flares it off. But one of my biggest treatments around self-care is treating myself to facials. The other self-care that I love to do is make no plans. To me, that is a huge act of self-care. I can't stand seeing my schedule booked up. Like, I'm not the type of person who puts in my calendar, call this person, pick up this. Like, I can't do that. I get overwhelmed if I see my calendar too booked up. So one of the things that I do for my own self-care is have days where there's nothing, especially on weekends when I'm with the family. We're not a type of family who overbook our kids and activities. We're homebodies. We love to be home with one another. And I know in my marriage, it also helps not making plans for us every single weekend, or at all, actually. My husband loves it when we wake up Saturday. What are we doing? Nothing. We have nothing planned. So that to me is a huge act of self-care where I can literally just float around the day, float around the weekend, worry-free, not feeling like I'm missing something or I have to be somewhere. Another thing I recently discovered, and this came to me when I was really working on, living harmoniously with my body. As women, we tend to, it's like we're almost born with it, where we have like this instinct to critique our bodies and ignore our bodies. And especially if you go through the act of motherhood and you surrender over your body to this living being. I breastfed for many years. My body completely changed carrying and delivering two babies. And, there was some trauma there because of some losses that I had as well, and some traumatic birth and pregnancy experiences that I had. And so I felt very disconnected from my body for a long time. And so as part of my ritual on getting to know my body again and living more harmoniously with it, when it comes to mediumship development in particular, learning to connect and how to serve is just half of it. The other half of it is actually your internal healing journey. The self-work, the self-help kind of work is a huge part of mediumship development. And so I take that very seriously. And so one of the things that I had to do to learn to get into my body and learn to love my body, and even though it's not perfect and I would love for it to be a different way, I had to learn to love it the way it is and accept it the way that it is. And one of the things that I ended up doing as an act of self-care is buying like a really fancy bar of soap or a type of soap, a really fancy bath oil, even like high-end salts that are like energetically charged. So my bath time is actually one of my biggest acts of self-care. When I put the kids to bed, I am thinking a million things that I can get done because I run a very successful business. I have a lot of clients. I have over 80 active clients right now. There's a lot to do just in my spiritual business. And nighttime sometimes is the only time I can get it done. But an act of self-care for me in that moment is choosing to go to the bath and get out my oils, get out my fancy soap, get out the, Reiki charged infused salts, and really just give myself that space and time to like just be with the water. Waters are very healing. Trying in the bath to be very present, looking at the water around me, maybe bubbles, being really present in that moment is also an act of self-care for me. And so those are just some quick ones I have for me. You might want to make up your own list so that you can call upon those in December, because for some of you who are listening, like it or not, you're going to be home. And I do feel like a lot of people listening had big plans that are being changed. And so, if 2020 has taught us nothing else, it's probably taught us to be a little bit more flexible. And so what can we do in a situation where we feel helpless and we feel like we're not in control? We can take some control back and we can choose to rest. We can choose to focus on self. We can choose to, do the work, like just do the work. And I know a lot of people who are listening are, definitely more geared towards intuitive and mediumship development. So do hear me on this, that a big part of this development journey is the inner work. It's in the heart, in the solar plexus, in the soul. So we don't want to bypass any of that. And I feel like December is going to be a month where we can really tune into that. And I don't mean healing like Scorpio season where it's like transforming old wounds. I don't feel that. I feel more peaceful going into December. I feel like what Spirit is trying to bring us this month is a little bit of ease and a little bit of peace. And so therefore, how can we help them bring that in very naturally to us? And that's just kind of surrendering. Now, I will say, so I'm going to pull some cards now to kind of see what else Spirit kind of has to say around this. But I will say that this came last week too when I was trying to do these energy forecasts, but I feel like December 7th is going to be a big day. That's coming up again. I get covered in shivers as I talk about December 7th. So for those who are attracted to listen, again, I am not trying to say these messages for every single person on this planet, over 7 billion people. I am literally working with Spirit to be inspired to say things for people who I know are going to be tuning in to listen, because that's part of Spirit's plan as well. And so I'm speaking to you when I talk about December 7th being a big day. They do make me feel that I'm actually hearing the phrase peaceful heart, right? Peaceful heart, peaceful heart, peaceful heart. I feel like if you've been feeling like really chaotic, you've been feeling a little bit scattered all over the place, December 7th is really going to be a day that turns a corner. I'd be curious to know what astrologically is happening that day. I'm not an astrologer by any stretch of the means, but they are making me feel that that's going to be a really big day, December 7th. So do keep open to that day being a big day of like just love. I just feel heart. I feel peace. I feel a big turning of the corner with that. Okay. Spirit is wanting us to believe in the impossible, right? This is actually a full moon card. So very fitting today for the day that I'm recording this, which is November 30th. And so Spirit is wanting you to hold the vision on what you don't think is possible for yourself. Literally, I'm going to be saying this a couple times. I know I've said it before, but our Creator would not put a dream in our heart that we didn't have everything in us to actualize and bring to fruition. We would not even have the dream. And so, interesting enough, I was talking to my coach earlier about some, not scarcity, but some old thoughts that were coming up about like not enoughness, right? Not enoughness. Like, I don't know if this is going to go well, or I don't know if it's going to meet my expectations. And it was a really big reminder for me. I need to say those things, which is why I have a coach. So I have a safe space to kind of like exercise these thoughts. And sometimes saying them out loud moves the energy so I can fall back into alignment with my vision and believe in the impossible. Literally believe that maybe, just maybe, things will exceed our expectations. Maybe it will be better than we can possibly dream. But if we get sucked into the thought around it not working out or not being as good as we thought it was going to be, we don't even give it the chance. I've seen a quote that says, doubt will kill more dreams than fear ever will, or doubt will kill more dreams than failure ever will. That's what it was. Doubt will kill more dreams than failure ever will. So it's worth it to pursue your inspirations. It's worth it to pursue ideas that come to you, even if they seem impossible at the time. And so Spirit's really calling on us, especially this full moon energy. So the first few days of December, to really believe in the impossible, because impossible is like a made up word. To me, impossible is completely man-made. Anything is possible. Anything. Okay. See, some doubt came into my heart as I said that, because I was like, I hear the skeptics out there, but I can't fly. Funny enough, I think you can. If you follow my stories, I posted this video that I saw on Paranormal caught on camera of this little girl in Russia flying, like literally flying in the air in the woods. And it was like one of the most crazy things I've seen on the show. So you can fly, apparently. So I don't want to hear anything is impossible. That's for sure. Spirit's also giving us a hold the vision card. So again, this is, I'm going to be focusing so much on mindset and mediumship in January with my community, with the initiation circle, and probably on Instagram it translates to as well. Probably even podcast episodes. I don't know. I don't plan these things. I just kind of riff. That's the type of podcaster I am. But hold the vision. Hold the vision. And if adjustments come in and you're like, oh, I'm having to pivot this way or shift things this way, or I was hoping to, launch this or do this or take this class, but some things have shifted. That's okay too. There's no missed opportunities. There's no FOMO. There's no fear of missing out, or YOLO, you only live once, which we know is not true too, right? There's no missing out. Anything that is meant to be for you will come back time and time and time again until you grab it. So definitely don't be afraid if your dreams need to be adjusted, even just slightly or delayed. That doesn't mean you fucked up. That doesn't mean that you've missed anything, okay? No scarcity in December, that's for sure. Spirit is also making me feel that I need to talk about some things coming to conclusion. So if you've recently been in disagreement with somebody, they are taking me to legal matters as well. They are making me feel like December is going to be a month where things will really come to conclusion. They're also taking me to moving and sales of homes and acquiring new homes, whether that's purchase or rent. But Spirit is making me feel that there are things that people are working on when it comes to security, jobs, legal stuff, homes, houses, that are going to see conclusions in December. Now, here's the thing. They are making me feel like some people are like, I don't want it to happen in December because it's a crazy month. Well, we're gifted in the world a time right now where things are going to be less crazy this month than years past. So it's still going to be a good month to make these decisions and see these conclusions come. They're also, this isn't coming through a card, but it's just coming through me. But they are making me feel that there are some family rifts as well. There's some family dynamics that have come up, I do feel, with mother. So there are going to be a few of you who will really resonate with this, that need to find some closure within that relationship. And so this could very well be a lifetime of people pleasing when it comes to mother, and built up a resentment and this inability to speak up for yourself, and this inability to speak your truth and speak your mind because you don't want to like rock any boats. There is going to be an opportunity, I feel, this month for people who resonate with that to have some conclusions when it comes to that relationship. There's a lot of mother energy right now that I'm feeling when it comes to December. So just keep that with you as well. If you have a mother in spirit that you were not able to have closure conversations with or speak your mind, know that it's not too late. These are the types of conversations we can simply have a cup of tea, we can light a candle, we can literally speak from our heart things that we wish that we said when they were here. So it's never too late. You did not miss these opportunities. So do just take that to heart and know that that's your free will. If that is something that speaks to you, that is in the energy for December as well. Spirit is wanting a lot of full moon cards today, very timely. The Spirit with this card, the full moon in Virgo, really want to talk about you feeling like you're good enough. Okay. Sometimes we stay so busy because we feel that busyness equals achievement, and busyness equals, respect. And I invite you this month to break up with busy. And sometimes we stay busy because we're avoiding self. We're avoiding our own thoughts. We're avoiding our own inspirations. We're avoiding ourselves. And so Spirit is really encouraging us this month to break up with busy and to rest, love ourselves. And if we're not feeling like we're good enough, or if we're not feeling like we're achieving anything by doing nothing, then we need to look at that mindset. I think in the month of November, I only worked 10 days. 10 days in all of November. It was my second highest earning month. So I know, because I test the energetics of my business all the time, I know that just doing things is not going to equal success, and it's not going to equal abundance. Sometimes less is more. And so Spirit is saying here that you are worthy of slowing down, and you are completely worthy of living a life that is within alignment with the pace that you actually want to live. So I feel that that's going to be a big lesson from 2022 as we go into 2021, kind of reflecting on, the gratefulness of like what this year actually did bring us. And I know for me personally, I have slowed down a lot. And I think I've slowed down about 3 times. I even checked my phone yesterday and my screen time was down 88% from last month. So not only did I work less, but I also was less online, less, putting myself out there, and the world didn't fall apart. My world did not fall apart. And like I say, I had my second highest earning month since going full time in my business. So you are good enough. And so I want you to meet yourself this month. If that could be a real big theme of December, it's like meet yourself. Meet yourself and where you feel like you may be lacking, where you may be feeling like you're keeping busy because you're avoiding self, and take this as a month to reintroduce yourself. Again, going into the season of winter, it is about reclusion, and it is about rest, and it is about planting seeds for the next year. So as we head down to the later part of December, they're bringing me to the word devotion. That's been a big word for me actually for the past few weeks. And they want you to, how do I say this? I just feel with the word devotion, it's also linked to the feeling of gratitude. So it's really feeling around Christmas time, we're probably going to have less family around us than we're used to, less craziness, less busyness. But we are going to feel more grateful. I feel that as we come into the last 2 weeks of December, around Christmas time and heading into the new year, there's going to be an explosion of gratitude, an explosion of it. I think that I see so much, I'm getting covered in shivers even talking about this. I see so much and so clearly that Spirit is going to be blowing our hearts up by the end of the year. The world's not going to be fixed by then. We're not going to roll over into January 1st and things are going to change. This virus doesn't give a shit. The way people are reacting, they don't care, right? We're working with our inner temples right now and ourselves. And so we can choose what happens around January 1st and how we choose to roll over into the new year with a fresh perspective and a different lens on the way things are. But what I feel very much is going into 2021, thanks to this explosion of gratitude around Christmas time, is we are going to be feeling very lucky for the experiences that we had this year. And I will do a totally different episode on that. And in the initiation circle on Christmas Eve, we're going to be having a little bit of a social, and we're going to be talking about, our goals heading into 2021 and all these fun things. So it's going to be very timely for this energy for sure. So I just feel too that there's going to be a lot of gratitude coming into this month, and look for that to happen naturally. I don't want you to set your watch to it. I don't want you to, say, oh, Danielle said around this time. I think it's just going to happen very naturally for you. All of a sudden you're going to be in reflection mode, which is very common around that time of year. As well as that reflection. And I think you guys are going to be reflecting from eyes of love. Okay. I always see, angel eyes whenever I see the sign for that I need to talk about seeing yourself from the angel's eyes, which is love. And so I feel we're going to be looking at our world and at our lives from a lens of love. So yeah, I'm getting some inspiration too that I don't know if it's going to be me because I didn't have this idea until right now, but I also feel around that time between Christmas and New Year's is going to be a great time for global prayer. So I may actually look to see who else is doing one. I know that Michael Lennox, who I had on the podcast this summer, who's an astrologer, every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time, he does a free global meditation. I highly recommend you check it out. So I might go maybe hop into one of his if he's doing it during that time, because Spirit is making me feel like you want to pray for the world. That's the week to do it. That's the week when people's hearts are cracked open. We are in the vibration of gratitude, which is in the vibration of which the spirit world lives, and things will be much more potent around that time. So do think about that if you remember that. I do trust though that the people who are attracted to listen to this will experience synchronicities that will naturally lead them to an experience like that. Spirit is really wanting to kind of close off this energy forecast, reminding you that you are safe. Okay. It doesn't matter how much the external world is trying to tell us we are not safe. We are safe. And so I want you to know, heading into the holiday season and the time of celebration and gratitude and love, that we are all safe. We are all safe. And I think that a few of you really needed to hear that. And finally, the last card that I pull is around you're very close to achieving your goals. So I've been getting a lot of messages from clients this past week saying, I've lost my motivation. And I did too in some ways. But when I lose my motivation to pump out external resources for people, meeting Instagram posts or classes or anything like that, I just take that for what it is and I just roll with that ebb, right? Everything is an ebb and flow pattern. And so a lot of people have been feeling in their businesses, because I do a ton of business coaching with people. I'd say half my clients hire me just for launching businesses and podcasts. And I'd say most of my business clients have been coming at me saying, I haven't really done much in the past few weeks. I've just been kind of resting. Yet there's this sense that you got to keep busy to keep achieving things. And that is furthest thing from the truth. Remember my story about November, furthest thing from the truth. It's those times of rest and quiet and times we don't feel as inspired, that some work is being done in the undercurrents of our life and our vibrations. I feel very much that it's an integration time. Ooh, if you watch the video, oh my God, there was this big stream of light that just came up on my left side. And I am literally covered in shivers and I want to cry. That is the presence of spirit. Like I literally feel like that. Ugh, okay, let me collect myself for a second. I love it. Okay, you don't need to be busy to accomplish things. Okay, even if you haven't taken action, even if you don't take much action towards your goals and your businesses and the things that you want to launch and your spiritual practices in December, things are still working in the background energetically, and you'll be better off for just going with the ebb. Stop forcing things. Don't force anything. Go with the flow this month, and you are going to achieve your goals. And maybe faster than if you were to force things. And this is a lesson for myself too, because I'm launching the initiation again. It's going to start on January 22nd. So the next round of the initiation, which is a 6-week Mediumship Foundations Journey. It's very intensive. It's going to be so much fun. And so you can imagine, and I'm completely redoing it from the first one. I learned so many lessons from the first one and I'm making so many improvements, but that equals a lot of work, right? So I'm going to be recording 24 modules this month. I'm having the slides redesigned. I'm having it completely rebranded. That's a lot of work, but I haven't been feeling too motivated to work towards it, but it's still getting done, and it's getting done on time without things being forced. And I know it's going to be a successful program. Again, it's going to change people's lives just like the first one did. And so for me, this is a big message as well, going forward with the month of December without forcing things, that you will achieve your goals, even if you're in that state of ease and peace and grace. Okay. So look out for December 7th. Look out for this like heart explosion of gratitude in between Christmas and New Year's. Know that the energy of the collective is not going to shift come January 1st, but you have the opportunity and sovereignty to make your own shifts heading into the new year. If you're interested in joining the initiation circle, it's a good month. This month, we're going to be doing some things on self-love and rest and reflection. Heading into January, we're going to be doing a monthly challenge on mindset. I got challenges coming every month. Beautiful community of light workers, beautiful community of people who are interested in intuitive and mediumship development. We got over 50 women in there right now. It's so much fun. And it's one of the only ways to work with me right now is in this community. We're having a masterclass today on passings and personalities. Next month, we're going to have a masterclass on delivering messages, heartfelt messages from the world of spirit, whether you're working psychically or mediumistically. So much going on. We do group practice readings every month, sometimes twice a month. We do practice sessions every week, all volunteer-based, coaching calls. It's just a beautiful community. So definitely hit me up a message or follow the link in the description of this podcast. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else is integrated for you all through these spirit messages and monthly energy. So I feel very good about December. I feel, if nothing else, you need to know that you are worthy and deserving of rest and ease. And that is what Spirit wants to bring us this month. So sending you guys all my love. Thank you for tuning in. I am so grateful for each and every one of you, whether you've left a review or you haven't, that's all good, but leave one due if you feel called to. I'm just grateful that you give me your time and energy. It really does make me putting myself out there worth it, because this is scary stuff. Just saying what you're feeling and saying what Spirit's inspiring you at risk of being critiqued, which happens often. It does make it worth it, knowing that you guys really enjoy these. And I just wanted to give my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you, whether you're watching on YouTube or on the podcast. I am incredibly grateful for you. You're going to get 4 more episodes before the new year, but I just can't leave this specific episode just feeling what Spirit brought me around how you guys are going to feel this month. I'm just full of love right now. And I just want to raise my hands to each and every one of you and let you know that I love you and I'm so grateful for you. So have a good December. See you next week for another episode.